Alrighty guys, so we got a couple of small things I want to do real quick, and then we're going to talk about spicy rocks for the day. Or for the hour or whatever, not necessarily for the day. But I want to increase our production of green circuits. And I moved a few things around so we can add one more section. There's an electric pole in the way. Of course I can't reach it. Where was it? There it is. We'll talk about the other stuff that's in there in a second. So there's that. Go, my lovelies. There we go. So much nicer. So much nicer. There we go. And I put production modules in all of these just because I had production modules. I'm not making speed modules or anything right now. That's one of the things we're going to do real quick. The other thing I want to do is I want to enlarge our red circuit production. And I believe it's right here is the cutoff for that, I think. Right? Yep, that looks like it. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3. I'm going to let that do its thing, and all of the flying monkey minions are going to come out of their lair and take care of it. I think that is everybody and everything. So there we go. See, isn't that a lot better to be able to do that than to have to one at a time put this crap down? Thank goodness, huh? Now I do need to go back and add lights and stuff. Lights are not a big priority in my life most of the time. Alright, so let's look at science real quick. So, the bots are fairly quick, but not quick enough for my liking. So we're going to increase how much they can carry, which also opens up this one for how much they can carry. And that's the last one of those. And then we're going to, well, worker speed, we're going to wait on that, I think. Let's do lab speed. What is this? Steel productivity 1. Wow, that's expensive though. We'll wait on that. What does that give us? That gives us a 10% bonus to our... Okay, well, that's not terrible. Let's get the Mark II armor, because then we can put more stuff in it. We're not going to grab thrusters yet. I mean, I know we got the space platform, but we're not going to grab thrusters yet. I think we're going to get automation 5. Or 3. 5, yeah. Less Dixia. That's 1,000. We don't want that yet. How about inserter capacity? Let's do inserter capacity. And inserter capacity. So that'll do us for that, right? So now let's go down here, and we're not doing speed modules yet, but speed modules are easy because we've already got this setup, right? And this setup is exactly the same for speed modules as it is for production modules, as it is for whatever modules. So we could, in theory, Stick that right there. We gotta get rid of these poles. We should have done a force build. If we'd have done a force build, it would have taken the poles out. We didn't do a force build. Now the problem with doing that there is that's in the way. And I don't want to move that. But we could stick it there and go around it. If we did one, could we fit two in here? That would fit to there. That would fit to... We could actually squeeze... We would have to get rid of that, and we would have to move the gas. Ooh. And I said I moved all these pipes. I forgot to hook that back up. That helps. If we got rid of this, this just occurred to me. I didn't even plan for this. And we did this. We'll have to remember to put that back. Right? We could, in theory, go there. What is it? Control Shift, isn't it? No, it's Control Shift click. Yeah, Control Shift click is force build. It'll get rid of whatever's in our way. Of course, now we got a bot that's there that needs to move. Right? So there's that. We need to put one of these back, and we can put it right there, and then put another one up here to make up for the gap. That would make up for the gap. And then we tell this one to make speed modules. Oops. Speed modules check mark. And then this one would be efficiency modules check mark. And then this one would be quality modules. Oops. Quality modules check mark. Or did we want to do whichever's going to get to them first? So we might want to do this. These guys last. Right? Right. Okay, so these need red and green is what we got to bring in. Our red is still really slow. Why? Copper. Oh, because we added on to the green and blah, blah, blah. Now it's got to trickle down here. Okay, fine. Fine. So red and green. Red. Green. Now what I'm not going to do with these ones is I'm not going to put them on the bus. Not right now. For right now, they're just going to build up and sit right there and go in a chest. And we're only going to do one stack. Okay? That's what we're going to do with those for now. Same with these guys. We don't need them right now, so we need red and green. Ew. And then red and green. Right? Right. Okay, so that's going to give us all of them, and all of them. Just wanted to be able to get some production going. And we need to redo that power. That one's got power, that one's got power. Let's check on the map and make sure we've got coverage. Mostly coverage. Coverage where we need to have it. Okay, so we got them. That's all of our fun little modules. They're going to take a while because we're still really slow on something here. Oh, copper. Why is copper so slow? I guess because of the green circuits. Copper is... If we put in... We're going to put in a faster line for that at some point. That'll help with that. But that's, yeah. We can't force more water through a hole than what we can put through the hole, through a hose than we can put through the hose. So we're stuck on that. Anyway, so that's out of the way. Now let's talk about spicy rocks. So with spicy rocks, you need a few things. You need a reactor, right? You need some heat pipes to hook the reactor up to your boiler. You need a heat, they're calling it a heat exchanger here, because it's the same thing. It's a boiler, it's a heat exchanger. It's just because it's nuclear, they're calling it a heat exchanger, just to differentiate, because it is a little bit different. It works at a higher temperature, blah, blah, blah. The other thing with it is you don't put fuel in it. You put heat into it to fuel it. So the heat comes from the reactor. So you got to come out of the reactor with these little heat exchanger pipes, right? And they have to be in contact with the reactor. They have to be in contact with the heat exchanger. And then from that, you get a turbine, or a, what do they call them in here? They call them steam turbines. Okay, so that's basically how it works. Now, you got to bring water into here. You got to put fuel in your reactor, right? Your reactor is going to start to heat up. It's going to heat up the heat pipes. The heat pipes are going to heat up the heat exchanger, boil the water, give you steam. Steam gives you the steam turbine. As far as numbers and amounts, I can't give you an exact amount because it really kind of depends on how you configure these. A single reactor, right, is going to give you 40 megawatts output, right? It's going to give you, it's going to bring up your temperature to 500 degrees. It's going to give you 40 megawatts of power out, but they all have neighbor bonuses, which is where it gets kind of flaky. Okay, and then your heat exchanger is going to supply up to 103 units of steam per second, right? And your steam turbine uses 60 units of steam per second. So the math doesn't even out. You've got to kind of figure out how many of these to these to these. So you got to play with the numbers, okay? There are pages on the internet where you can, do a Google search for the reactor configuration, what have you. But here's the thing. Here's the reason I say I can't give you an exact number. If I put down one reactor, right, it's 40 megawatts. If I put down another reactor and I don't connect them, that's another 40 megawatts. So then I can run lines between them and out to whatever. But if I take one reactor and I put it right next to the other reactor, each reactor gives what's called a neighbor bonus. And it's 100% bonus to this reactor. So if this reactor is 40 and it's next to another one, then this one is now 80 and this one is now 80 because they're side by side and they each get 100% bonus. If I put one on the other side, up and down and what have you, same thing. So what you end up with is if I did the reactor, I would have 1, 2, 300% of the reactor because I'd have the reactor itself and I'd get a neighbor bonus of one for this one and one for this one for a total of 3. Okay? If I did this reactor, then I would get the initial reactor 100%, 200%, 300%, 400%. So that doesn't count diagonals, just straight lines. So for this reactor, I would get the 100%, 200%, 300%, 400%, 500%. That's the most you can get power-wise in a reactor is 500% of the reactor. The problem is you can't get steam pipes or you can't get heat pipes in there, and you can't put an inserter here and fill this because these are too big for an inserter. Where is it? To reach across that. Even a long-handed inserter won't reach across that. Okay, so you can't get into these. You could hand jam them in there, but again, how do you get the heat out? You couldn't. So the best you can do, and this is 12. This is just chest, but it's 12 of them. The best you can kind of do in vanilla-ish, we're not playing vanilla, we're playing Space Age, same difference though, is like this. You could theoretically put one there and then have inserters and what have you to be able to do it. But this is 12 configured as a row. So this one would be 300% because you'd have the original plus 3. This one would be 400% because the original plus 3 more, right? And so on down the line. So you get 300, 400, 400, or 300, 400, 400, 400, 400, 300, right, percent of the reactor. This is basically the configuration I use for my really big giant power plant. Now, up until now, I have made it a point of not bringing in blueprints. I've been wanting to try and work on all of this stuff by itself and kind of learn the new stuff and what have you. But power plants is one of those things that I'm not going to design a new one every single time. So I initially, years ago, grabbed some blueprints that I like that work for me. Now, here are the blueprints that I have. This is a 4-reactor setup, right? And this is what you can kind of see just how much change there is as we go through these. That's how many steam turbines you can run and how many steam engines and what have you that you can kind of get onto a 4-reactor setup. All right? This is an 8-reactor setup. Now, the big difference nowadays with these is the amount of pumps you have to have in. You got the pumps over here on this left-hand side. You don't have to have as many pumps now because of the way water works. But that's what you can run off an 8-core reactor. That's 880 megawatts. This is what I put down typically in my plant to give you an idea. So it's from my main bus all the way out. That's how big this 12-core is. Whereas this 8-core, if we look, is pretty small. And part of the reason that this one is so big is because of all of the steam turbines and all of the heat exchangers. And rather than doing it in a square, it's been done as a single line. So this is the one that I use. I like using it. I think it looks cool, and I can do it once, set it, and forget it. So that's the one I want to put in. That's the one I'm going to put in. But in order to build that puppy, we have to supply a whole lot of stuff for it. Okay? This thing needs 12 reactors, which we've got 2, so we got to make 10 more. But it needs almost 400 of those steam turbines and almost 200 heat exchangers. To handcraft those would be ridiculous. Now, the substations, the tanks, the pipes, the accumulators, we're making those all already. So we just need the nuclear stuff to be made. So let's go ahead and look at, am I out? Oh yeah, because I used them all up over there. Let me grab some assemblers. Take a pile of assemblers. I think we've got enough long-handeds. We'll take half a stack of long-handeds. We should have enough of everything else. Maybe some power poles. Take a half a stack. So let's look at building the pieces, parts we need, and I think we're going to try and stick them here and stick them here. Okay, so the first thing we want is we need steam turbines, and they take copper, iron gears, and pipes. Then we need heat exchangers, which is copper, steel plate, and pipes. So these two we need pipes for. This one is copper and steel plates. That's pretty easy. So let's put this down here. We're copper. And that's, what did I say that was? Copper, iron gears, and pipes. And then this is steel. Do we have access to steel there and there? How about down here? You know what? We got a little bit more room to work down here. Let's start down here. So if we go but we don't have copper. We don't have copper. All right, fine. We'll go back up here. We'll make steel come down if we have to. So, we need iron gears and pipe and pipe. Do we need okay, so we need copper for that. Copper for that. Pipe and pipe. Okay. Well, pipe, we can make pipe down here. Right? We'll just make pipe down here. So we need pipe, iron gears, so this will be pipe, this will be iron gears, because we can use the iron gears here as well. Don't we need our pipe here as well? So if we do pipe here, iron gears here, and then we just need copper. So that gives us both for that. This is going to be pipe. We need copper again, but we can bring it. We'll bring it down here. We'll bring it down here, because this needs copper. That needs copper. We'll bring it in here, and then pipe and steel. Right. So that gives us everything for that. And then the next one is heat exchangers, and that's steel and copper. So steel and copper. So potentially we could do it there. The only thing... Alright. So, let's start looking at this. That goes in there, that goes in there, that goes in there, that goes in there. We need pipe in that one as well. Right? So that would be pipe, gears, copper. Pipe, gears, copper. So that one's taken care of. If we move this over, 1, 2, 3, this needs steel, pipe, and copper. Pipe, steel, copper. Right? Copper. Pipe, steel, copper. Steel, copper. Alright, so then we need chest for each of them. Chest for that one, right? So that gives us that. That gives us that. That gives us that. The only other thing we need is the reactor. Now with the reactor, we need red circuits and we need concrete. And we need a butt ton of each of them. And we need steel and copper. well, we don't have, red's way down here. I want to kind of keep this as together as I can. Red is way down here, and concrete is way up here. But if we, where are these? Okay. Let's do something here. Let us output that on the other side. And output, yeah, no, that was fine where it was. That was fine where it was. And then we bring that down by one more. We can reach across it with a long-handed. That gives us copper. We just need steel. How far can we reach? We can reach to right there. So we basically need to bring steel to there. Reactor. So that would be steel to there, copper to there. That would give us 2 of the 3, and then we just go here and here and here. Right? And we'll just bring them over for that. All right. Now, the other thing we need is we need to be able to process our stuff, our fuel. We've got part of it started. We've got the mining portion started. We now need to be able to Covarex it. We've researched Covarex. We need to be able to Covarex it. So we're going to bring over concrete and red, right? So we're going to bring over concrete and red. Concrete, red. That leaves us gears and steel. Okay. Can we move this down here further? Right? So then if we bring steel to there, it's not getting on that line. Oh hell, we didn't even need to break that, did we? We didn't need to break that. Why waste the underground? Right, that's reaching that. That's reaching that. So that gives us concrete, gear, concrete, red circuits, and steel. Now we just need gears. How do we get gears in here? Well, gears, if we were there, wouldn't be hard because we could just put it there and put that across, but we can't do that because that's in the way. Let's try something here. How about that? What does that get us? Well, That gets us that. That gets us that. That gets us that. I think we could steal off the backside of an of a splitter, can't we? And that gives us gears. Gears. Does that give us everything? We just got to put this in something, right? Alright, so let's check everything. We're going to need a stack of those. These stack size of 10, and we need 10. So we want one stack of reactors. These guys stack 50 to a stack. Hell, we don't need 50. But we can do this. That to that, right? And then we can tell this if this is less than 12, turn on. So that will be on if that's less than 12. That'll put 12 in that box, and that'll be that. Okay, so they got that stack size for that. This we need 272. These stack in 50s. So let's do 300, 100, 200, 300. This we need 100 and so we'll do 200. These stack, where's the stack size? 50. And I said I needed 200 of them, so 100, 200. Where are we stacking these? We're stacking them there. They come in stacks of 10. Of course they do. That makes no sense to me. All right. We need just under 400 of them. Well, let's say 390, and they're in 10s. So that's 100, that's 200, that's 300, that's 90. 100, 200, 300, 90. Right? So that's those, that's those, that's those, that's those, that's those. I think that's everything we need. Can we get away with a... We can get most of it that way. Is that lottie-dottie everybody? That's lottie-dottie everybody. So there we go. So now we got all our spicy rock making stuff set up. Oop, we got one more thing we got to do here. We can't block that off. Is that everything else? It looks like everything else. So we've got all of our spicy rock making stuff ready. So let us go up here, and we are going to go ahead and get partially set up for... We got to get those out of our pocket, but we'll deal with that in a minute. Don't need that. Don't need that. don't need that, especially. These guys will put in a... You guys go in there. We don't want you. Those guys go there. Those guys go there. Those guys go there. Okay, so I started making a bunch more concrete because I knew we were going to need it. So now we've got the concrete. The other thing I knew we were going to need is that. I knew we were going to need a butt-ton of landfill. So I put in a second chest. So, let's go up here. This is where I'm thinking. This is my thought process. This is where our uranium is. This is where we've started processing it. We might as well continue to process it up here. Our other uranium is close by. We've got uranium down here. We got uranium over there, but we can bring those up here. But we might as well be near where we've already started. But here's the thing. This SOB is huge, right? So where do we want to put it? And the thing with it is, you want to have access to water for your input pipes. So usually what I do is I put it in the middle of a lake somewhere, like something like that. So this one is not big enough, although we could do it there because the end, we would be able to get the pipes in the water there. But it would cover up that patch and what have you. Now I know with the water, it won't be as bad of a thing because of the fact that we don't need as much water. But I kind of like the idea of still having like 3 Mile Island. So what I'm thinking is maybe we put it someplace like this. Now obviously that is over water. But it is my understanding that now with the new changes and the whole force build thing, we can control shift and click and it will automatically fill in the landfill for us where it is needed. So if we put it here, does that look like a good place, guys? It's away from all the biters. Nobody can spit at it. It's going to be a ways off. If we put that there, let's put this down, and we go back to our map, and we go up here and look. It should be there in the water, except for the fish that are in the way. And if we go up there, it should put down the landfill. Now that's why I got rid of the reactors and stuff that I had in my hand, because I don't want it putting them down yet until we have everything to put down. But I wanted to see if the auto landfill thing worked out. That interests me. So if we go over here, and the other thing, it is my understanding, and I have not tried it a lot yet, but it is my understanding that if we decide to, we can pick up landfill that we've put down. Yes, it does. That is so sweet. So now it will fill in landfill where it needs to. Now it won't fill in the holes because we don't need landfill in those locations. So we're going to have to go through and do a little bit of landfill on our own. But these guys will now put down landfill for us. And if we minus this, we can walk across here. And now we can go around and we can fill all of the landfill in exactly where it needs to be. And let me check something. If we go here, can I pick that landfill up? I can in fact pick that landfill up. That is like sick. Alright, so there we go, guys. Walk under the dawn of the nuclear age. This is the big power plant. Now I think what I may do, I don't necessarily need as much power as this sucker will put out all at once. So what we might do is we might build like this 4-core or even the 8-core, probably the 4-core. That will give us all the power we need for a while, and then we'll graduate to the 12-core when the time comes. So we'll probably put down the 4-core first and then strip the 4-core for the 12-core. But what I'm going to do is off camera, I'm going to go ahead and let this fill in all the landfill. We'll probably have to make a couple of trips to do it. Is it giving me the fish? It's picking up the fish and giving me the fish. That's freaking awesome. Except for the fact that they're going to rot. Oh well. But anyway, I think I'm going to fill this all in off camera. Get all the landfill ready. We're going to let it build the pieces parts off camera. And then we'll come back to the game. How are we doing here? We're getting ready to finish another tech. So let's see what we want to grab. That's 6. Do we want to get 7? We'll get 7 now. And that will finish out the inserter capacity. And then once that goes, I think we're going to get... We got lab speed. Do we want to... Maybe we'll get the module 2s. We'll work on the module 2s next. And because these are going to pop off camera. So we'll grab the module 2s. Maybe the laser speed. And maybe the explosive stuff. Module 2s, laser speed, explosive stuff, laser damage. So we'll do the weapon stuff. If these all pop off camera, we'll do the weapon stuff. So there we go, guys. We're building 3 Mile Island. I will see you guys in the next one. All right, bye.